on, everybody? Welcome to the Thursday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down the 4-game NBA DFS slate. I was on a PGA Live before lock. I was swapping around one lineup that I have on FanDuel. I got in the 4-for-4. I had a ticket for it and was super excited. Kevin Porter Jr. has me far less excited about life. Don't know why I did that to myself, but such is life. Rayen Patnaik, how is your night going?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Massive late night hammers and guys like Jokic, Bradley Beal, Russ Westbrook, De'Aaron Fox on the other side of things. And we saw the slate kicked off with a banger from Kyrie Irving and Rozier. Ben Simmons came to life over there on FanDuel. So a lot of fun things that happened on the slate. And the Clippers gave us some news 20 minutes before they tipped off. So that was nice of them. But we got to deal with just 4 games on a Thursday slate tomorrow.
Yeah, I buried the lead because I think at this point I'm famous at Awesemo, I think, for 3 things. 1 is Paul George, 2 is Paul George, and 3 is Paul George. So I'm pretty sure for the most part everybody knows that Clippers news is pretty much in my blood. I was not surprised. We'll see. Terrence Mann, fortunately, I didn't pivot onto too much because I couldn't and I had one lineup. So such is life. Anywho, guys, get to that bottom bar, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when this and all the other content at Awesemo is going live. We are presented by monkeyknifefight.com. Monkey Knife Fight, where you can go and play all of the Hilton Head props that you want, most birdies, eagles, all of the things that you want for PGA. Oh, it's going to be good times. If you want to have some nice additions to your DraftKings and FanDuel portfolio for NBA, MLB, UFC, all of those goodies, head to monkeyknifefight.com. Use the promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO. I think I spelled that right. Yes, I did. It is my place of employment. Use the promo code Awesemo and get $50 first deposit match bonus. Let's get started. You ready to go, my dude?
Let's ride.
All right, let's ride. Yeah, I made more lineups on DK, but I mean, they weren't worth anything, and I don't know. I played the ticket game over on FanDuel. It's just so sad, and hopefully Domantas Sabonis can go out there and do something crazy. But anywho, enough lamenting from me. Steph Curry is 10,500. Wow, over on FanDuel. That's a big number for him there. 10-6 on DraftKings. Just crazy. Because it's 4 games, I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit. De'Aaron Fox, 9,700 on the top end over on DraftKings. He's 9,700 as well over on FanDuel. Nice when they have the exact same price when they send those notes to make sure that matches up. But of course, the big news that we'll be waiting on once more on this 4-gamer that we should have right off the bat, and it'll kick the slate off with a banger. Trae Young, questionable, 9,100 up against Milwaukee. Hard not to really like that should he play 9,100 over on FanDuel too. So 2 identical prices. That's pretty fantastic and also pretty rare here of late. It'll be really nice to write an article about them tonight, knowing that I don't have to say this on DraftKings and this on FanDuel. Talk about the top end of point guard. Oh, I think I just lost you. I just lost
top end of point guard.
Hey, there we go.
Tough not to love Steph Curry all the way up in the top. And De'Aaron Fox. I know we're dealing with that Trae Young news. If you were to play, I think he's going to come in low owned, and obviously the upside in him can outscore those other guys. It's a 4-game slate. You got to shuffle around some of the studs. And it's easy to make an easy stance to jump ownership because of the consolidated number of games with just 4. So point guard will be a fun position where you're going to have to decide, do you want to spend up all the way top for these studs or take some shots at some mid-tier options in these options like Kemba Walker, Dennis Schroeder on both sides. So it's going to be really interesting to see what ends up panning out in terms of ownership. It's going to be fun to target that Phoenix side of things against Sacramento. Chris Paul could be a monster at his price tag. So with all things put together, I really like Chris Paul's matchup. His price tag is obviously a little higher than it's been all year long just because of how well he's been playing of late. But I really like targeting CP3 and Steph Curry, probably my 2 favorite guards the way things stand right now.
That seems like a pretty good take to have on a 4-gamer to target some of those ceilings. Obviously, Goodwin becomes fantastic once more if you were to get him off the floor. I don't know why FanDuel, who's been very good about pricing here of late, back-to-back 37 minutes from Goodwin, 33 and 30 and a half. Yeah, I think I would be playing a lot of that. Over on DK, he's at 4,500, so at least it's seen some bump. Not enough of a bump. I think he would be a pretty easy plug and play if you get Trae Young out of there on the top end. Tyrese Halliburton, we'll see how he ends up kind of panning out today. Now he's up to 6,400. Hasn't really earned the tag with anything he's done production-wise, but again, is going to be popular tonight, and we'll see how that all pans out. On a 4-gamer, you're basically trying to find some pivots off of some of these more popular dudes. But at 5,400 on FanDuel, tough not to like Tyrese Halliburton, even up against this Phoenix team, especially depending on how he does tonight. If he does poorly, you'll see ownership kind of come down a little bit. If he plays fantastic, it'll be through the roof. So enjoy that, everybody. Anybody else you want to talk about? Oh, I guess I jumped over to shooting guard for the most part. My bad. I was saying on DraftKings, he's point guard and shooting guard eligible. That's why I brought him up in that regard. Let's jump over to shooting guard then, shall we?
Let's do it.
Oh, we are going to fly through this today. Devin Booker's 9K going up against Sacramento. That seems fantastic. 8,700 on DK. That's more fantastic. Drew Holiday, he's point guard, shooting guard eligible up against Atlanta. That's nifty, 8,400. So sign me up for a little bit of that. Andrew Wiggins on FanDuel, 7,100 up against Cleveland, the team that basically said no to him. Can there be a narrative around a team that if they traded a pick or if they traded you away for LeBron James and LeBron James has nothing to do with the Cleveland Cavaliers anymore?
So I want to jump in right there. Early in his career, he used to stick it to Cleveland when he used to play. Over the last couple of times, I think he's matured a little bit in his process and has let it go. But there was a time where Wiggins started off his career averaging north of, I want to say 40 fantasy points against this Cleveland team. And back then, 40 fantasy points for Wiggins was a ton. So it's been fun to see what he will do against Cleveland tomorrow. Yeah,
so for those that don't know, Andrew Wiggins was the number one pick and unanimous number one pick, and Cleveland had it. And they traded him away to Minnesota to go suffer with my terrible, terrible basketball team in order to get Kevin Love and go win a title 2 years later. But that's neither here nor there. Continue on, Rayen.
Yeah, no, the shooting guard spot for tomorrow. Obviously, you let it off with D-Book. If D-Book were to go, 9K is obviously, we're getting to some bubble Devin Booker pricing, and he's earned it. He's been kind of obviously not as kind in terms of consistency, but the upside games have been sprinkled in there. So on a 4-game slate, you'll happily take high 40s fantasy points against a Sacramento matchup, which I think you can definitely find a way to get. And other guys didn't play. Colin Sexton were to go against Golden State. He didn't play today. If he were to go tomorrow, keep in mind it was the strained left groin, I believe, is why he missed the game today. So a matchup now headed back against Golden State. I think we can definitely target Colin Sexton as well. If you want to spend down at some options, it's tough. No one really stands out. I like Halliburton's mid-tier price. Kevin Huerter will stand out if Trae Young doesn't go, just because I feel like the minutes are pretty solid. And I'm willing to take some tournament options with a Talon Horton-Tucker, just because he's a pure tournament play. There could be a huge upside if you were to crack 30 minutes. Now, does he crack that? It's tough to predict on what's going to happen. I felt confident with him once he was ruled the starter the last time against Charlotte, and he burned quite a bit of my lineups. So it's the name of game in DFS. You got to take some chances somewhere. I don't mind going to Talon Horton-Tucker at that price tag. And over there on DraftKings, as I pull up the shooting guard spot, Chris Middleton still is in play, and Drew Holiday is definitely in play. We'll have to monitor the Giannis situation. Giannis didn't play today. I think he's close. I think he's very close to returning. There'll be great tournament options if Giannis does play with some sort of minutes limit. It's been interesting with this Giannis situation. He had that one monster game against the Blazers and hasn't played since. And this injury, is it a lot more serious than it was? Tough to say. I mean, they're just probably being overly cautious with him, as they should, because they don't really care for seeding. I think they'll be ready to roll in the playoffs. But spending down over there on the shooting guard spot on DraftKings, no one really is exciting, except I will be taking my chances with Buddy Hield yet again, just because I always do.
It's not spending down. Spending down, I think, on this slate looks like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope or Alex Caruso, both on the Lakers against Boston, playing a little bit up in pace here of late. 27 points there for Caruso. He ended up getting a lot more run, knocked down that big three to help them win that game. And then the one other guy, I'm just going to throw him in there because, again, it's a 4-game slate. You want to get weird? Come get weird with me with a little Torrey Craig in your life. He's 3,200. Say that again?
I'll counter that. I'll take TD3 on the other side of the game. Terrence Davis.
Okay, yeah. That's fair. I mean, they're both pretty awful plays, I think, but I'm trying to find something for you.
But I think then again, remember, awful plays win tournaments.
Yeah, no, awful plays can win tournaments. Not only that, but I think on FanDuel you got to play too. I mean, if you're not going to go Booker, Wiggins, Smart, like once you plug in Booker up top, it does get a little bit more thin in this mid-ground if you're not going to play Halliburton or Horder, depending on how all that news breaks out for Atlanta. If Trae Young's in, those guys become less appealing. So I would take some shots on a 3,900 Torrey Craig over there. How do you? I mean, Terrence Davis,
no. I think
he's a little cheaper there too at 3,500. So
I think it could definitely work out just because of the situation of potential blowout. Does he get an extra rotation stiff if Phoenix were to wax Sacramento? Sacramento's on a back-to-back. There's a lot of reasons why you could want to predict a blowout in that type of situation.
Well, look at me. I'm so sharp. Chris Middleton, 8,300 over there on DK on the top end of small forward. Love Jaylen Brown, 8,100. Not really as appealing against the Lakers. Definitely like starting to temper off a little bit, but 36 and 40 minutes, playing big minutes here. You just have a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but Fournier continues to be out, but it's basically just Kemba, Jason Tatum just going nuts here of late. Jaylen Brown hanging out in the background now, kind of flip-flopping situations with them, so maybe taking some shots there isn't the worst thing. And then it gets a little bit cheaper. Andrew Wiggins, 6,900. Kyle Kuzma, 6,500. Kyle Kuzma is an interesting dude. He actually played pretty well against Charlotte. They ended up winning that game by 8. Pretty low scoring, but the rebound numbers are tough to get a grasp on now. I don't think he really has the double-double upside now that he's playing alongside Drummond. We saw that with 4 rebounds only in his last 2 games. Curious what you think about Kuzma and the rest of the small forward position.
Yeah, so Kuzma is another guy and tournament upside. He could find a way to 40-plus fantasy points because he's going to have to show out one more time before LeBron and AD come back. AD is near to coming back, and at that price tag on both sides, it's a great tournament option on a 4-game slate. No issues taking some chances with Kuzma. Jaylen Brown, 8,100 versus the Lakers. Yeah, I think it's a fine option. This Lakers team is not as good at defensively of late. Jaylen Brown should eat. No questions asked. Chris Middleton's still in play, even if Giannis were to play on FanDuel, especially $7,800. A solid option to consider. I really like Kelly Oubre, if he were to play. I think he's close to returning. If he were to play, he's a great tournament option. We'll have to see what the minutes limit looks like for him on the Warriors if he were to play tomorrow against the Cavs. Hopping over there at DraftKings, like you said, Middleton up top, no issues with him. If Oubre were out, if you want to spend down a guy like Kent Bazemore, definitely in play. Mikal Bridges, both sides, FanDuel prefers him more for his type of scoring just because of his ability to rack up steals. But on both sides, this guy has 40-point fantasy upside in him. There have been games this year he has gone north of that as well. So especially this year, he's taking his game to the next level, showing more of an offensive game of late. And there have been multiple games where he's gone over north of 40 fantasy points. And why not versus Sacramento? So I think Bridges is a great tournament option. Maybe he's going to have a kind of, just because of his price, like he might garner a little bit more ownership than we would expect on a normal day, just because of the 4-game slate.
Then pivot on to Thanasis. Pivot on to Kent Bazemore. Well, no, Kent Bazemore at 5K should be popular again. I will continue to be light there, that's for sure. Maurice Harkless, 3,900, makes an interesting punt. Again, this is a 4-game slate. You got to talk about some uncomfortable plays. I don't feel great. I know that he's been playing the last 2 games 30 minutes. 3,900 is pretty darn cheap there on FanDuel. So that was against New Orleans and Utah the last 2, 30.6 and 32.1. Those are kind of nifty numbers at 3,900 if you can get something similar. We'll see how he performs again tonight and what those minutes look like, but otherwise, 3,900 definitely have some interest. Anybody else that you want to talk about?
No, I think it's good to hop on over the power forward spot.
All right, top end over there, Jason Tatum, 9,400. Well, I guess we'll see Giannis as well. Sorry, 10,800. If you were to give it a go, makes probably the best spend up him. And I mean, to think that Steph Curry's 10-6 on a back-to-back, and then you've got Giannis and Antetokounmpo 10-8. That's kind of interesting. Steph Curry's on the slate today, right? Am I just being crazy? Why am I? Steph Curry played tonight, right?
He's playing right now, and
they're
blowing out the Thunder by 30 as I speak.
Oh, well, I need Svi to get back in that stupid game. So come on, Svi. I hate playing Svi. It's probably the worst feeling in the entire world. Should have just played Luke Kennard. Doesn't matter. Whatever. That
Kennard game just missed out on overtime, I believe. It was tied at 98. And I think they just won on a buzzer beater of some sort.
Clippers won?
Clippers, yeah.
Oh, I had the money line on that in a parlay. I needed that. These are the fun things about doing a show simultaneously with games going on. But anywho, Draymond Green, 7,100. I believe you said that he went for 40 in the first half. Did I hear you correctly about such things?
Yeah, he was up to 40 on FanDuel points on in the first half. Yeah, I think he's on 5x5 watch as well.
Oh, that's great. So everybody can get that achievement on DraftKings because you had to have gotten a little bit on accident. Yeah, Draymond Green, 7,100, nifty spot there. And then Rashawn Holmes, if he ends up playing here, it said he's got a right hamstring strain and he's going to undergo an MRI. So my guess is he's probably not going to play.
He's going to miss the next this game and the next two after this. So
okay,
3 games
so
in the minimum.
No Rashawn Holmes. Larry Nance Jr., 6,900. I think I'm okay not playing that. Talk to me about the top end of power forward.
Yeah, I like going to Tatum quite a bit. He is coming into form over the past week, and he is trying to carry this Boston team back into relevance. The Boston team now has won 4 games in a row, which I don't think they've done in a long time this year. It's been over a month plus since they've won 4 games in a row. I like going to Tatum against this Lakers matchup. I like that quite a bit. And I think if you want to spend down in the power forward spot, Bobby Portis is definitely going to be a consideration. He was a monster versus Minnesota in just 25 minutes as they blew out Minnesota yet again. But if no Giannis, I think if Portis were to start, I'll have some interest. And Kuzma at price at $6,500 is solid. No issues there. We'll see what Cleveland does with Kevin Love on the back-to-back. He was very good today. He showed some signs of his old self as he went 17-11 from the 17-11 stat line, 39 and a quarter DraftKings points. So that's really good production from Kevin Love. Happy to see him rolling again. He's just a fun fantasy monster. When he's a no minutes limit, he just finds a way to rack them up. Over there on FanDuel, Tatum is definitely in play because we have to roster too. You're gonna have to spend up somewhere. I like going to Tatum. Draymond Green at $7,100. We'll see how early these starters get pulled in Golden State as they are putting on a real whooping as they have now, they're up 28. So Draymond Green probably not going to play many more minutes tonight, so he should be all systems go, hopefully, as he's up to 47.8 fantasy points in 24 minutes of play. A really vintage playoff Green performance from Draymond. Really, really solid spot from him. As other guys who stand out, we'll see what happens in the Cleveland front court on a back-to-back. Guys like Hartenstein and Wade could be brought back to relevance, but right now it'd be tough going there. I'd prefer going to a guy like Barnes or Jay Crowder, and that's really about really about it in the power forward spot. And maybe Juan T gets into play. And if you want to predict a blowout, Dario Saric, I don't have any issues going there. Even really at 3,700, he could find a way to really put up a solid performance in 18 minutes against Sacramento.
Yeah, agreed. Also, last guy to throw in, Danilo Gallinari. He's questionable. He did play in Island in the middle. He was hurt. Didn't play on April 7th. Played on the 9th. Played 30 minutes. Now he sat out the last 2. If you were to give it a go, I think I'd be projecting him for upper 20s minutes, and that would be good enough for me at a $5,600 price tag over on FanDuel. I believe on DraftKings he's around the exact same thing, $5,400, so even a little bit better there. What do you think about him? And then we'll head over to center.
Yeah, I think if you were to go, and if some reason he's going and Trae Young's not going, even a bigger boost for him. A great contrarian tournament option, Danilo. Danilo is one of those guys who I've always thought is a phenomenal offensive player, and I really wish he didn't go to Atlanta. I wish he ended up somewhere like on a true contender team because I think he would have made a real difference.
Same with Bogdanovich, man. The guy can play some offense. 7,200 now here over on small forward. Pretty hefty price tag, but again, you get no Trae Young. Definitely probably want to fire up 40 minutes of him. Let's round it all out here at center. This is a quick one. We've got Giannis sitting on the top end on DK. Anthony Davis isn't playing, obviously. Clint Capella, your first true center listed there, 8,900. Over on FanDuel, he's the top center as well, 9K there. Then you've got Jared Allen, who ended up coming back in and playing today. I don't know how he did. I think he was doing all right, it looked like. 7,100. I'd be surprised if he played on the back-to-back. Same thing with Kevin Love, where I think you're probably looking at both of them possibly sitting. And, you Hartenstein and Dean Wade, welcome back, guys. And then to finish out center, let's throw in Andre Drummond, 6,800. Price tag didn't move over on FanDuel. Are we going to go back there again against Boston? It's just going to make me sick.
Yes, we are, because it's
damn it, DFS. Just tell me no. Tell me no, and I won't do it.
Trust me, I want to say no because the guy really took a dump on one of my better lineups last night.
Took a dump.
Yeah, he took a massive one, and like it was not
It's
fun.
steamy. All right, go ahead.
He has been terrible on this Lakers team. Did you hear Kyle Kuzma's quotes saying, "Yeah, Drummond's never really been coached. I'm pretty sure Stan Van Gundy blew out Andre Drummond's eardrums while in Detroit." And Andre Drummond has been an absolute disaster in LA. This guy
Disaster.
needs to turn it around. This is a national televised game. Before Charles Barkley rips Andre Drummond a new one, we need to be on an Andre Drummond game where he's going to go for 20 and 20. And this Boston team, he could find a way to get going. It has to happen. Like, this is like unacceptable. It's been really, really disappointing. And he's still too cheap just because of his upside. If he were to get going, how can you not like him at that price tag at $6,900 over there on DraftKings? And he's coming in at $6,800 on FanDuel, where you have to roster one. The opportunity cost tomorrow is guys like Capella, Ayton, Jared Allen. Andre Drummond could outscore all of those guys if you were to play 30 minutes. So there's a lot of reasons to play Drummond. Now, if you don't want to play Drummond, I won't fault you for taking some chances on a DeAndre Ayton in a great matchup versus Sacramento. $6,700 and $7,400 on DraftKings and FanDuel, respectively. If Jared Allen were to go against this Golden State team, yes, he's going to see some better, improved front court defense from Kevon Looney, but Allen should still find a way to be pretty solid. How many minutes did he end up playing today? He played 30 minutes today. 30 minutes of Jared Allen, he could find a way to get to 45 fantasy points by just picking up some blocks. And that's definitely a great option. I don't really have much interest in going to Capella with that price tag on this slate. I just feel like Capella to really burn you by playing you, he has to put up 50. Can he do it? Sure. But I really think a lot of things have to go his way. No Trae Young. If Trae Young is there, obviously you don't expect him to get. I have to see what the usage looks like with Trae Young back on the court if you were to go. I know they had a nice little two-man game brewing before Trae Young got hurt, but that's going to be tough to go there. And if you want to spend down to Kevon Looney, he played pretty solid today in his center spot. On a 4-game slate, if you want to spend down for a center option like Kevon Looney, sure to really, if you want to pay up elsewhere, it could definitely work out for you. And we need to talk about the Sacramento Kings front court situation.
That's what I was going to say. Damian Jones is $3K. He's got 4 and 3 right now. He just picked up his second foul as we were talking here because I wanted to take a look. And now they're bringing Hassan Whiteside in as we speak, which I didn't even know if he was going to see the floor because they had Metu playing backup. But I guess because it's his second foul there, it's early in the second quarter. There's 10:30 left. So there's a Hassan Whiteside sighting. I didn't know if he was even going to play, but Damian Jones definitely going to be super popular. I think he was probably on pace to playing about 20-something minutes until that second foul early here in the second quarter. Obviously, I don't think there'll be an issue for him probably getting to 20 minutes anyway. But super popular, 3K and 3,500 on FanDuel at the min. He's going to be a big talking point of tomorrow. What do you think about him?
Yeah, so I'm going to have a question for you. When's the last time Damian Jones has put up more than 30 fantasy points? You don't need 30 for tomorrow. I'm just.
I mean, was it with Atlanta? Right? It would have had to be with Atlanta 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was last year. He's
okay.
He's not fun to roster.
No, but he's 3K and he's playing center minutes, and he just got. I'm watching the game here in the corner of the screen. He just had a pretty sick dunk, but assisted from Terrence Davis. He's not the worst player. I mean, the Lakers just didn't like him because
should he get a top shot highlight out of it?
Oh my God, it's Terrence Davis's pass. So yeah, it's probably going to be a highlight for Damian Jones for sure. That's generally how it works. Whoever does the cooler thing in the top shot, definitely it's not their top shot. We have learned that. Any other hot takes at center? Any other position about this whole slate? Your strategy on 4-gamers? Anything? Because we're at 23 minutes. We flew through this one today. Nothing?
Sorry.
Just nothing whatsoever? Well, okay, that's fine by me.
No, I was talking about Whiteside and Metu and see how many minutes they end up playing.
Okay.
And it'll be interesting to see if one of those guys, if like since the games are back to back in terms of recency bias, let's say Damian Jones goes out for 30 points tonight, I'll be more inclined to be way under the field tomorrow just because it's a matchup against Phoenix. Happens to be his former team that he was on earlier this year. And I just feel like that's an easy guy to fade in terms of if he's going to be super chalky tomorrow.
So he's been on 3 West Coast teams. He went Phoenix to LA to Sacramento.
Yeah. He's been all in that same division. Yeah.
That's absurd. That's crazy. That's a lot of moving during COVID. That's a lot of things to figure out. That's probably your agent's responsibility to get you housed and set up at all of these cities. But that's crazy because he had a stint with the Lakers, I know, because he started a game or two for them as well, right?
Yeah, no, he started a few games for him for the Lakers. So Damian Jones has been hopping around, man. The guy picked up a couple rings with the Warriors. I think he got 3 with the Warriors or
Okay.
2.
Yeah,
Got 2 rings with the Warriors. He's gone from Phoenix to the Lakers to the Kings, all within 3 months. 3 months.
I'm assuming the rings all cost the same, right? His ring's just as nice as Steph Curry's, right?
Yeah. They're just as nice as KD's too, probably.
Oh, KD doesn't deserve it. Anywho, that's all we got for today, guys. Rinpack, any final words for the people?
KD blasphemy will not be accepted.
73-9. Oh, I'll join them. Yeah, he deserves a little flack. And even if it's kind-hearted, it's from a kind place. I love watching KD play basketball. I just think if you join a 73-9 team, come on, like stop.
Yeah, that was a bit sus, but hey, it panned out for him. Two Finals MVPs, some crazy dagger shots, both in Game 3 of the Finals.
He was the best player on the floor. I agree.
Oh yeah, he was absolutely insane. Hopefully, we get to see more of that as we wind down the NBA month and head into the playoffs. Only 34 days from the play-in game, 38 from the playoffs.
Oh my gosh. Are we going to do play-in shows? Have we even talked about this yet? Are we going to be doing slate starters for the play-in games?
I don't know. Maybe they'll probably fall on like a weekend or some sort. I'm not sure, but it should be fun.
If you guys want it, let us know in the bottom bar. We'll follow you guys into the abyss, into the unknown. Okay, it's been a Disney day, which is strange. A lot of Disney references on the tip-off today. Such is life. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by today. Hit that subscribe button as you head out if you're watching us on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review for us if you really enjoy us. If you don't, you can just unsubscribe. That's fine. Or click subscribe twice. How about that? That's a nifty idea too. Let it be known, that's Rinpack. I am Eric. We will catch you guys back here for Friday. Take it easy.